we have so many factors that affect productivity negatively. Such factors make you, the person who's in business, not to realize the revenue expected to realize. There are very many, and they include, amongst others, personnel. The staff are not interested in seeing the organization as their own. So they end up having a culture that is derogatory. It cannot foster revenue. It cannot compete. And you end up losing in business. Even if your business is virtue, employees whom you have at hand can be a contributory factor that will impede productivity. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to welcome you to my video today. Our topic today is impeding factors to production. If we listen, we shall save millions of money. Millions of money in retraining, millions of money in a wrong work culture. So let us see what are some of the factors that bring about impediments in productivity. One is the project culture. Ladies and gentlemen, project culture is such an impediment. Different norms and behaviors across the organization can lead to some employees failing to adjust, and others do adjust. It becomes an impediment to productivity. This is the way we've always done. That is the way you believe. And however much we try to instill behavior change, culture change, you do not understand. So you become an impediment to the organization and thus an impediment to productivity. One wants to improve the organization, but they meet a lot of resistance in their attempts to overhaul the work culture. They get handicapped, and results needed to ensure the organization remains competitive become elusive. The employees are actually a great hiccup. They become a barrier. You cannot change their way of working. Yet, you have become innovative and you know what you need to do, the process you need to put in place, the system you need to put in place, the work culture so that you remain competitive. They make you think and think further. The project culture is an impediment. Another impediment is human resources. Lack of skilled manpower to effectively and efficiently manage the farm using modern technology. Sometimes we don't have those skills. We go out to recruit, but they're not to the level of performance that we expect. We end up again spending money on training, and sometimes because of poor productivity, the money is not there to provide the necessary training support. It becomes an impediment. When there's low morale and the employees get demotivated, that becomes another impediment. They'll not work for the purpose of realizing improved revenue. They'll just be on duty for the purpose of earning. We shall end up having poor teamwork, and that will make them not to embrace innovation. So you don't strive to exceed performance targets. You are just there. And that's how human resources can fail. One, employees leave for other firms on the labor market, and they end up getting job satisfaction in those firms. In this particular organization where they work, there's an impediment and there's no job satisfaction. Who is the loser? The employer. Then also, firms that make alcohol and substances do suffer a problem of inadequate land. As you know, we are in a competing situation. Competition from different parts of the world because the market is there. Now, if you don't have land to adjust to the new technology so that you put the new machinery, you will not be comfortable in adjusting or telling your employees to become more innovative because you don't have room for expansion. And even to put just the new machines as these other ones, you wait to sell them off. Demonstration nuclear zone models may not be there for putting up raw materials such as raw materials such as sorghum. We may be wanting to put up barley We may be wanting to put up all manner of model farms. It depends on which substance you are making. It depends on which type of alcohol you are making. Some of this liquor comes from some of the cereals that I've just mentioned, e.g. sorghum. We may have inadequate contracted farmers, and if they're not adequate, then the raw materials will not be there. So they cannot provide the amount of raw material you need to efficiently and effectively work with the machines that you put up. So you keep on switching off your machines. Then there's lack of land for disposal of waste. You know, it is a continuous process from input to output. So the output is not only what you put in the store, but also the waste. They need to be treated and they need to be released when they are user-friendly, not to harm our fish in the rivers. We also have a factor to do with obsolete machinery and equipment. The machines may not be using current technology. They're using outdated technology that is wasteful and cannot compete accordingly. My audience, that will be wasteful. You will not realize the revenue you want. The machines may not make work conditions very friendly. In fact, they make the work conditions very unfriendly. You have a typewriter, you have one where you have to keep on changing manually the bolts instead of just using something electrified, and it removes the bolt easily. Machines can miss out on important safety gadgets, making the workplace prone to accidents. And you know, once accidents are in a workplace, there's injury to the personnel and there's damage to the machines. We end up replacing the machinery. We end up having so many days spent in hospital. They can add up to months, year, and sometimes the employee may lose life because of a workplace accident due to failure to have safety nets or the obsolete machinery. Poor maintenance of the machines leads to idle time. Why do I say idle time? You had planned to maintain them periodically, forgetting that there's some little maintenance which is required oftenly. So the absence of that maintenance ends up making the machines not to work, and as a result, they end up being idle due to breakdown. Ladies and gentlemen, poor working conditions is also a contributory factor and an impediment to productivity. When the employees do not know their job descriptions, they do not know the reporting lines, and the reporting lines may be there but unclear. The human resource policies and procedures manual or handbook may be not known by many employees. That makes employees to work in an arbitrary manner. They make situations left, right, center. They do not know who is supposed to make what type of decisions. It ends up being demotivating to employees. And such poor working conditions contribute to, they become an impediment to productivity. Obsolete work tools and methods can also make one suffer stress and other health conditions. Remember, if one is not comfortable with the seat he's using, with the standing he does in that factory, then how do you expect the person to be productive? It is an impediment. Inadequate inclusivity. Yes, you want to do change management. You want to change the way, the work culture, the norms, the values of the organization, but you do it from top bottom, not bottom up. The approach is such that employees go to the grapevine to discuss, have you heard? This is what the organization is trying. You do not embrace, at least giving them a circular, we shall be doing this, and then they're prepared. It wastes a lot of time and it's an impediment. Dirty work environment, from slippery floors and the abolition blocks when they're not clean. That's a wrong work environment. So the work environment is an impediment. You wake up, it's an ISO. You reach the workplace, it's an ISO. You leave the workplace, you feel at least the time for going home has reached. So let us keep the work area clean. Absence of disposal of dirt. If the factory is thinking about money but not thinking about where to dispose that, not necessarily from the factory, but from the day to day operations, then it's an ISO to the employees because quite a lot goes on, e.g., cleaning of the office. After cleaning of the office, you have to dispose the papers you shred somewhere. Where are you to put them if there's no such designated area? Another environment factor is inadequate facilities for keeping hygiene conditions. You go to the latrine, it is dirty. You go to the toilet, it is very dirty. You go to the smoking area, is user unfriendly. Those are the demotivating factors that contribute to impediments at the work of productivity. Then also technology. If there's inadequate automation, the size of the plant cannot handle inputs, is below capacity. Then it can't handle the outputs. There are no controls in the kind of technology you are using. Then we end up having very, very low productivity at different stages of the production lines. When the technology does not support storage, you cannot tell what came in first because the store is too packed. You cannot tell what is supposed to get out. You cannot tell which chemical should go out first. They're all messed up. Then the storage in terms of technology is not good. You also lack quality control. When you cannot control the quality of what you are making, then it simply means you actually do not know what you are making, either in terms of size, in terms of standardization, amongst others. Then we also have another impediment being poor processes and methods towards production, my audience. If the lack of standardization, there's manual process of measuring and packaging leading to inefficiency, there's inadequate branding of the products, it is uneconomical to do production. It ends up having products that are lethal, that do not meet standards, and are harmful to customers. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not acceptable to have a product whose components you are not sure of because of the manual way of measuring. That's lethal. Then another impediment is in terms of finance. When we have inadequate finance, you cannot have enough capital to run the machines, to pay for the salaries. Whether it's working capital or fixed capital, you do not have enough to sustain the plant, at least to sustain it to the break-even stage. Then what we are saying is it is an impediment to productivity. So if you don't pay people on time, they worked, what do you expect? The management style can also be an impediment. Ladies and gentlemen, if you rebuke one in public and you forget to praise one in public, then you only think of rebuking one in public. What type of management style is that? You dictate. That's the only way you know communication is undertaken. It is very expensive. There's no recognition of those who exceed expectation. When I'm absent, it is the same as that person who was present. That type of management style leaves a lot to desire, and you end up with a demotivated workforce. No job satisfaction. Another impediment is social amenities. Remember, I need a house. I'm your worker. I need that health facility. I have my grandchild wants to go to school. I have my daughter wants to go to school. My son wants to go to school. And other factors come in like, is there piped water? Is there electricity? Amongst others. Can I go to the club? Can I go to play? Can my spouse get a job nearby? A place to work? When social amenities like schools, health, housing are missing, we've got to commute from so far, you reach and you're being told you missed to clock in on time, then it's an issue and you will not have workers. Recreation is important. That's why we talk of clubs. I have to go at least to share with friends sometimes outside the workplace. The way we communicate these days is online. If there is no internet And sometimes also the waves are such that you cannot make a phone call. Then the software which is current, which requires internet, is an issue. It becomes an impediment. Will you be able to sustain effective productivity? The answer is no, you will not. You will not be able to sustain the productivity. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you have inadequate tools and equipment. Once we lack proper tools and equipment to keep the machines running, they keep on breaking down because you are using an outdated tool and forcing a modern process, a modern system to communicate online. It may not work effectively. As a result, you end up with breakdowns one after another, repair after another, and costs keep on escalating. Government laws can be an impediment, particularly when there are no incentives for certain imports, because not everything may be being produced, everything that you need in that production area are not found within the country. So you've got to import. And then the laws in terms of taxation may be user friendly. In terms of you selling your plant to move to another location, it may not be user friendly. The leases for the land may not be friendly. You end up not being productive. It becomes an impediment because you pay colossal sums of money. Ladies and gentlemen, that comes to the end of our video. And once again, I suggest that if you are new to this channel, please remember to subscribe. And for the others, most welcome, and I thank you again for watching this video. Remember to like and recommend to another person by sharing. Thank you.